Hello, Wrestling World. Coach Kennelly here, starting a new series. This is called my Why series. So for me, this is going to be why do I wrestle? Why do I coach? Why am I still involved with this sport? I was asked this a number of times. I spend a lot of time in here, a lot of unpaid hours on this sport, and people are just, why do you do it? So the first part is I really do honestly love our sport. It's amazing to me, fun to watch, exciting. I enjoy the workout. I love wrestling with this team of kids because I can't just come in there and beat you up. I need to use wrestling moves. I need to use technique, strength, skill, and speed. And that to me is a lot of fun. Another reason is I want to give back to a sport that has given me so much. Wrestling got me into college, University of Wisconsin Whitewater. I didn't pan out on the team, but I made it through. I got a degree. The wrestling coach helped me get that degree, and it got my foot in the door, which I wouldn't have been able to do without wrestling. Then after that, wrestling got me my first job at Janesville School of the Blind in it. I just enjoyed coaching kids. I enjoyed being part of the sport. And then I wanted to wrestle with some kids they can see, and I ran into Milwaukee Tech. I went to a job fair. They liked that I was already volunteering at the school, so they took that, and that eventually got me a job in MPS. 7 years later, I'm sitting at a poster right in front of the state finals. I've been there 3 times, lost all 3. There was a girl who made it the next year and won it. I wasn't sitting in the corner, so I definitely want to be there. I celebrate her win. That's great. But I want to be in the environment eventually, and that's one of the things that drives me so much is to get that state title. I never won one as a kid. I won some team ones, but I want to get that elusive individual state, or even better, a team title for Milwaukee. Another thing why I give back to this sport and why I'm at Tech is wrestling taught me diversity. I grew up in the south side of Chicago, and people hear that like, oh man, you grew up with a bunch of black people? No, there's white Irish sections of the south side of Chicago. If you don't believe me, watch a show called Shameless. It'll fill you in. But there's little parts, Canaryville, Vidham Park, Midway Airport. There's places where we're at. And I was part of that group. So we really didn't see many black people. Black people came in my neighborhood, we fought them. If I went into a Hispanic or a black person's neighborhood, they fought me. So I just thought that was life. Without wrestling, I never would have met any minorities or just people that didn't look like me. So one of my favorite memories of wrestling is I started out in a team, the Chicago Panthers, going out Burbank, Marist High School, different locations. And that was my first program. Then I started getting a little better, and I got signed up to a team called the Vidham Cats. The Vidham Cats is one of the best teams in the nation for youth groups. When I went there, there was a lot of national champs on the team, a lot of state champs on the team, defending state championship teams. So they were really bringing the heat. And I'll never forget, I walked in that Chicago Park District. It smelled like weed. There was a bunch of gangbangers all around. They looked at me, they eyeballed me up. But when they found out I was going to wrestling practice, they laid back. Nobody messed with us because they seen our coaches. They knew what we were doing in that room, and they knew that we were serving a greater purpose. And I truly respect that. The song still plays in my head. Nelly was there. It was Iya, underle, underle, mommy, Iya, Iya, oh, what's poppin' tonight? Still plays in my head. When I hear that, it brings me back to Vidham Park, Chicago Park District, in the mix of it. And I went in there. There was booty shaking, blunts rolled. They were doing whatever. But I walked past that stuff and I went to the wrestling room. That was the best decision I ever made in my life because it taught me so many valuable lessons. It taught me hard work. It told me when I get my butt kicked, I can get up and I got to live another day. Because you're only defeated when you give up. Once you keep coming back, you just keep moving on and progressing. That's part of your learning. I'm trying to get my 10,000 hours so I can be a master in, and I want to give back and show these other kids that might be, in a neighborhood where there's not too much going on, that there's a little spot like in Bradley Tech. You go up to that wrestling room, there's some beautiful things going on. And the gangbangers don't come in there. The bad kids don't come in there because they know that there's going to be some consequences if they do come in there. Just like my coaches would have gave them some consequences in Vidham Park. But then it also made me where we would go through the hood to pick up kids. I would go into these different neighborhoods where I wasn't allowed as a white man, but they knew I was there to wrestle. I got to go into Harvey, Illinois to wrestle with the Harvey Twisters for a little bit. One of the best teams in the country. Almost all black team. They had one white kid. We call him White Chocolate, Danny. But yeah, I went in there too. And they let me in. They accepted me at one of their own. I ended up choosing to go to Vidham Park. But it was all part of the process. And then when I went to state and I represented Central Chicago, it was usually me and a bunch of black kids. And we would all take respect and pride in representing our city. and that was real big for me. Kids came and we practiced from other schools, and I always had those adults that would just kind of push me, help me, lead me on. My dad, my coaches, different people in my life, different mentors that really pushed me towards greatness. So I want to instill that in you kids. What you give into the sport, you will get out. And I've never seen anybody start it, give 100% and come out worse on the other end. So I just want to help out people, teach them some skills, let them succeed in life, let them grow up to have great families, great jobs. And if they learn some wrestling skills along the way, that's great. But that's a big reason of my why. I want to give back to a sport that has given me so much. I want to inspire the next generation. And hey, I want to chase some world medals, baby. Ghetto Roman, we coming. 2020. So this is a little bit of my why. We'll expand on this series. I'll interview other people's. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for listening. You could have been anywhere in the world right now. You choosing to watch this, I truly appreciate that. We're going to end it with peace. Go Milwaukee. Beat the streets, city kids. And much love to you. This is Coach Kennelly coming live from Milwaukee by way of Vinham Park. I'm out.